In this video, we will discuss every single aircraft that flew on D-Day, revealing the massive aerial armada that actually secured the victory. The C-47 Skytrain, known to the British as the Dakota, was the backbone of the airborne assault that began Operation Overlord. Over 1,000 of these twin-engine transports roared across the English Channel in the pre-dawn hours of June 6th, carrying 23,400 American and British paratroopers into the darkness over occupied France. Each C-47 could carry 28 fully equipped soldiers, sitting on uncomfortable metal benches, weighed down with weapons, ammunition, and the knowledge that many wouldn't survive the night. Powered by two Pratt & Whitney R1830 twin Wasp engines producing 1,200 horsepower each, the C-47 cruised at 155 miles per hour with a range of 1,600 miles. The aircraft featured a reinforced cargo floor, large side doors for paratrooper drops, and could also tow gliders into combat. Pilots flew these aircraft at just 500 feet altitude in tight formation, through intense German anti-aircraft fire that ripped through formations and scattered paratroopers across Normandy. Black and white invasion stripes painted on wings and fuselages helped prevent friendly fire incidents. When German flak and small arms fire tore through the thin aluminum skin, the C-47 proved its legendary durability, bringing damaged aircraft and wounded crews home against impossible odds. The Waco CG-4A glider carried the heaviest equipment that paratroopers couldn't jump with, including jeeps, artillery pieces, and anti-tank guns that would mean the difference between survival and annihilation. These engineless aircraft, constructed of fabric-covered steel tubing and plywood, were towed behind C-47s on long nylon ropes, then released to glide silently onto French fields in the darkness. Each glider could carry 13 troops, or a jeep and trailer, or a 75mm howitzer with crew and ammunition. With an 83-foot wingspan, the CG-4A approached landing zones at 80 miles per hour, touching down on grass fields, hedgerows, or anywhere flat enough to slide to a stop. On D-Day, more than 500 gliders landed in Normandy, many crashing violently into obstacles called Rommel-Spargel, asparagus poles planted by German Field Marshal Rommel specifically to destroy them. Glider pilots were among the bravest men of the invasion, flying flimsy aircraft with no engines, no weapons, and no second chances. Once they landed, often with bone-shattering force, these pilots grabbed rifles and fought as infantry, because their gliders, damaged or destroyed in the landing, would never fly again. The Airspeed Horsa glider, Britain's answer to the American Waco, was even larger and more capable than its American counterpart. With an 88-foot wingspan and 67-foot length, the Horsa could carry 28 to 30 fully equipped troops, or a jeep and trailer, or even a 6-pounder anti-tank gun. Constructed almost entirely of wood by furniture manufacturers across Britain, the Horsa was described as the most wooden aircraft ever built, with even the cockpit controls masterpieces of woodworking craftsmanship. The Mark II variant featured a hinged nose section that allowed vehicles to drive straight out after landing, dramatically speeding up the unloading process. To facilitate rapid troop deployment, the entire tail section could be jettisoned after landing by removing 4 bolts, allowing troops to exit from both ends simultaneously. On D-Day, Horsas played a critical role in the British airborne assault, most famously in Major John Howard's capture of Pegasus Bridge, where 6 Horsas landed within yards of their objective in total darkness. Glider pilots endured one of the war's most dangerous jobs, flying unarmed wooden aircraft into enemy territory with no possibility of a second attempt. The P-47 Thunderbolt, nicknamed the Jug because of its massive radial engine and bulky appearance, was America's heavyweight fighter bomber on D-Day. This enormous aircraft, weighing 8 tons when fully loaded with fuel, ammunition, and bombs, dominated the skies over Normandy with overwhelming firepower. 850 caliber machine guns, 4 mounted in each wing, unleashed devastating streams of fire at 3,200 rounds per minute, combined fire rate, while underwing racks could carry 2,500 pounds of bombs or 10 5-inch high-velocity rockets. The P-47's Pratt & Whitney R2800 double Wasp engine, an 18-cylinder radial powerhouse producing 2,600 horsepower, pushed the Thunderbolt to 440 miles per hour at high altitude. What made the P-47 legendary wasn't just its massive firepower, but its ability to absorb punishment that would destroy any other fighter. and still bring its pilot home. German pilots watched in disbelief as Thunderbolts took hits from 20mm and 30mm cannon fire, lost engines, had control surfaces shot away, and still limped back to England with massive holes in wings and fuselage. On June 6, P-47s flew constant patrols over the invasion fleet, strafed German positions on the beaches with their 850 caliber guns, and attacked enemy reinforcements rushing toward Normandy. The P-51 Mustang, arguably the most beautiful fighter aircraft of World War II, provided long-range escort and air superiority over Normandy and deep into France, powered by the American-built Packard version of the legendary British Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. The P-51D variant reached 437 miles per hour with a combat range of 1,600 miles when using external drop tanks, armed with 650 caliber Browning machine guns carrying 1,800 rounds total. The Mustang combined speed, range, and maneuverability into what many consider the perfect piston engine fighter. Its innovative laminar flow wing design gave exceptional high-altitude performance, while the bubble canopy of the D model provided pilots 360-degree visibility, a critical advantage in dogfights. On D-Day, Mustangs swept ahead of bomber formations, hunting German fighters before they could threaten the invasion fleet, and provided high-altitude fighter cover throughout the day. The P-51's only vulnerability was its liquid-cooled engine, susceptible to ground fire that could rupture coolant lines and force emergency landings, but in air-to-air combat, nothing in the German arsenal could match the Mustang's combination of speed, firepower, and handling characteristics. The Hawker Typhoon, Britain's devastating ground attack fighter, proved itself the most lethal tank, killer, and ground support aircraft of D-Day and the entire Normandy campaign. Powered by the massive Napier Sabre liquid-cooled 24-cylinder H-block engine producing 2,200 horsepower, the Typhoon could reach 417 miles per hour at low altitude. Armed with 420mm Hispano cannons, 2 in each wing, the Typhoon could also carry 8 60-pound rockets or 2,000 pounds of bombs under its wings. In the months before D-Day, Typhoons destroyed radar stations along the French coast, blinding German defenses to the approaching invasion fleet. On June 6 itself, Typhoon squadrons provided devastating close air support, attacking German strongpoints, artillery positions, and any enemy forces attempting to reach the beaches. During the Battle of Normandy, Typhoons earned a fearsome reputation, particularly at the Falaise pocket where they destroyed 137 tanks in a single day. German tank crews learned to fear the distinctive sound of a Typhoon Sabre engine and the whoosh of incoming rockets more than anything else on the battlefield. The B-17 Flying Fortress, with its distinctive 4-engine profile and bristling gun turrets, carpet-bombed German beach defenses in the hours before dawn on June 6. 659 B-17s of the 8th Air Force launched from English bases, each carrying 4,000 to 6,000 pounds of bombs toward concrete bunkers, artillery positions, and troop concentrations defending the 5 invasion beaches. The B-17G variant, the most heavily armed bomber in history at that time, carried 1350 caliber machine guns in powered turrets, chin turret, waist positions, and tail position, making it virtually a flying battleship. 4 Wright R-1820 Cyclone 9-cylinder radial engines, each producing 1,200 horsepower, lifted the fully loaded bomber to 25,000 feet, where it could cruise at 180 miles per hour over distances approaching 2,000 miles. The Flying Fortress earned its name through legendary toughness, with crews returning in aircraft missing engines, shredded by flak, riddled with bullet holes, or with massive sections of fuselage blown away by German fighters. On D-Day morning, thick clouds forced many B-17s to bomb blindly through overcast skies, and to avoid hitting Allied troops storming the beaches, many bombardiers delayed their release, causing bombs to fall inland rather than on coastal fortifications. The B-24 Liberator flew alongside Flying Fortresses on D-Day, contributing 418 heavy bombers to the massive aerial bombardment of German defenses. The B-24 could fly faster, farther, and carry more bombs than the B-17. Though it was harder to fly, less forgiving of pilot error, and generally less popular with crews who preferred the Flying Fortress. Powered by 4 Pratt & Whitney R-1830 twin Wasp engines generating 1200 horsepower each. The Liberator cruised at 215 miles per hour with a boost maximum range of 2000 miles when carrying reduced bomb loads. Its distinctive high-mounted Davis wing design provided excellent lift and fuel efficiency, while 1050 caliber machine guns in nose, tail, dorsal, ventral, and waist positions defended the aircraft from enemy fighters. The B-24 could carry 8,000 pounds of bombs internally, more than any other American bomber in service on D-Day. Liberator struck transportation choke points behind the beaches, destroying bridges, blocking roads, and cutting rail lines to prevent German reinforcements from reaching the invasion site. Together with flying fortresses, B-24s delivered thousands of tons of explosives in support of ground forces. The B-26 Marauder medium bomber achieved something on D-Day that the high-altitude heavy bombers could not pinpoint accuracy against German beach fortifications minutes before troops hit the shore. The B-26, powered by two Pratt & Whitney R2800 double Wasp 18-cylinder engines producing 2,000 horsepower each, could reach 282 miles per hour with a range of 1,100 miles. On the morning of June 6th, B-26 Marauders attacked at low altitude, just 3,000 to 4,000 feet, bombing German strongpoints overlooking Utah Beach with devastating accuracy. Major David Dewhurst, flying the famous B-26 Dynamite, led the attack on Whiterstan's Nest 5, the concrete bunker complex defending Utah Beach, releasing bombs at exactly 6:24 and 30 seconds, just minutes before landing craft released their troops. The B-26 group succeeded where the high-flying heavies failed, destroying or suppressing beach defenses and giving American troops a fighting chance. Utah Beach became the most successful of the D-Day landings, while Omaha Beach, where heavy bombers missed their targets entirely, turned into a bloodbath. The Marauder would go on to achieve the lowest loss rate of any Allied bomber in the European theater, less than 0.5%. The Douglas A-20 Havoc, known to the British as the Boston, served as a versatile light attack bomber, night fighter, and ground attack aircraft throughout D-Day operations. Powered by two Wright R-2600 double Cyclone engines producing 1,600 horsepower each, the A-20 could reach 338 miles per hour with a range of 1,000 miles. Armed with up to 950 caliber machine guns in nose, dorsal, and ventral positions, plus 2,000 pounds of bombs, the A-20 excelled at low-level attacks on tactical targets. British and American A-20 squadrons struck German airfields, radar stations, communication centers, and transportation networks in the months before D-Day, systematically dismantling Germany's ability to respond to the invasion. On June 6, A-20s provided close air support for ground troops, attacked enemy strongpoints, and hunted German reinforcements moving toward the beaches. The A-20's combination of speed, firepower, and maneuverability made it one of the most effective tactical bombers of the war. The Supermarine Spitfire, Britain's most iconic fighter and symbol of the Battle of Britain, provided close air support over the beaches and engaged German aircraft attempting to interfere with the invasion. The Spitfire Mark IX, powered by the legendary Rolls-Royce Merlin 61 engine producing 1,600 horsepower, could reach 370 miles per hour and climb to 40,000 feet. Armed with two 20mm Hispano cannons and 450 caliber machine guns, the Spitfire was deadly in both dogfights and ground attack missions. Its distinctive elliptical wings gave exceptional maneuverability, allowing pilots to outturn almost any opponent. On D-Day, hundreds of Spitfires flew combat air patrols over the invasion fleet, protecting vulnerable transport ships and landing craft from Luftwaffe attack. Spitfire pilots also conducted armed reconnaissance, hunting for German armor and troop movements, and strafing targets of opportunity. The appearance of Spitfires over Normandy, alongside American Thunderbolts and Mustangs, signaled to German defenders that the Allies owned the skies and the Luftwaffe could provide no help. The Lockheed P-38 Lightning, America's distinctive twin-engine, twin-boom fighter, flew high-altitude escort missions and photo reconnaissance over Normandy on D-Day. Powered by two Allison V-1710 liquid-cooled V-12 engines producing 1,600 horsepower each, the P-38 could reach 414 miles per hour with exceptional range when using external fuel tanks. armed with 120mm cannon and 450 caliber machine guns concentrated in the nose. The P-38's firepower was devastating and didn't suffer from the convergence issues of wing-mounted guns. The Lightning's unique design, with twin booms and central nacelle, made it instantly recognizable and prevented friendly fire incidents that plagued other aircraft. On D-Day, P-38s flew top cover for bomber formations, protecting them from high-altitude Luftwaffe interception, and F-5 photo reconnaissance variants photographed beach defenses, providing intelligence critical to invasion planning. The P-38's long range allowed it to penetrate deep into France, escorting bombers and attacking targets that shorter range fighters couldn't reach. June 6, 1944, demonstrated air power's decisive role in modern warfare. 11,000 aircraft, from massive 4-engine bombers to fragile wooden gliders, from heavily armed fighters to unarmed transports, combined to create an aerial armada that overwhelmed German defenses and made the impossible possible. These aircraft, and the men who flew them, changed the course of history and proved that control of the skies means victory on the ground.